My roommate crashed her laptop and demanded I buy a new one or she'd report me to the police for breaking it. I said, no problem, go ahead. She did. She didn't know I'd installed cameras in the room. She was standing in my doorway holding the broken laptop when I got home from class. The screen was shattered, spiderweb cracks spreading from the center like something heavy had been dropped directly on it. The aluminum casing was dented on the corner. The keyboard looked warped, keys pushed in at odd angles. You broke my laptop, Megan said. I set my backpack down by the door. Our apartment was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Late afternoon, light filtered through the blinds, casting stripes across the hardwood floor, dust motes floating in the beams. I didn't touch your laptop. It was fine this morning when I left for my internship. Now it's destroyed. You were the only one here. Her voice was flat, accusatory, already convinced. I looked at the laptop in her hands, then at her face. Megan, I was in class all day. I left early this morning. I had back-to-back classes. I literally just walked in the door. Bullshit. Her voice got sharper, louder. You've been jealous of my stuff since I moved in. My clothes, my laptop, my internship. You finally did something about it. My stomach tightened. That's not true. I haven't. I don't care what excuses you have. You're buying me a new one. This was a $2,000 MacBook Pro. Top of the line. I need that money by Friday, or I'm reporting you to the police for property damage. The words hung in the air between us. Heavy. Threatening. You're threatening me? I'm giving you a choice. Pay up or deal with the cops. Your call. She turned and walked back to her room. Slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frame. I stood there in the hallway, hands shaking, throat tight, chest constricting. I hadn't touched her laptop, hadn't even been in her room. I avoided her room entirely. We weren't those kinds of roommates. We barely spoke most days. But she was going to report me anyway, frame me for something I didn't do. I went to my room, closed the door, sat on my bed, stared at the wall. My heart was pounding, my mind racing. $2,000. I didn't have $2,000. I was a college student working part-time at a coffee shop. I barely made rent, and she knew that. Then I remembered something. 3 months ago, Megan had accused me of stealing her AirPods Pro, the expensive ones. She'd screamed at me in front of our other 2 roommates, who'd since moved out, called me a thief, threatened to kick me out, said she was calling the police. I'd looked everywhere, turned my room upside down, tried to prove I didn't have them. 2 weeks later, she found them, in her gym bag, tucked in a side pocket. She never apologized, just shrugged and said, "Oh, found them. No, sorry." No acknowledgement of what she'd put me through. After that, I'd gotten paranoid. Started locking my bedroom door even when I was home. Started wondering what she'd accuse me of next, what else she'd blame on me. So I'd done something. Something I'd felt guilty about at first, but now felt grateful for. I'd installed a small security camera in the living room, one of those cheap ones from Amazon. Records to the cloud, motion activated. I'd put it on the bookshelf between 2 textbooks, angled toward the hallway and kitchen, just to protect myself, to have evidence if she accused me of something else. Then, a month ago, I'd added one more, a tiny motion-activated camera, disguised as a USB phone charger, one of those spy cameras. I'd left it plugged into an outlet on the kitchen counter, next to the coffee maker, looked completely normal. It had a perfect view of her bedroom door, and the kitchen, and part of the living room. I pulled out my phone, opened the security camera app, heart pounding, scrolled through the footage from today. Me leaving the apartment, backpack on, coffee thermos in hand, locking the door behind me. Later, Megan's bedroom door opens. She walks into the kitchen, makes coffee, scrolls on her phone, goes back to her room carrying her laptop and her coffee mug, and then her door opens again. She comes out, holding the laptop, looking at it, sets it on the kitchen counter, right in view of the camera. She picks up the laptop, looks around, checks her phone like she's timing something, then raises the laptop above her head, both hands, and slams it down on the granite counter. Hard. The screen cracks audibly. I could see her flinch at the sound. She examines it, not satisfied. Does it again. Harder. The casing dents. The keyboard buckles. She examines the damage, turns the laptop over, looks at it from different angles, nods to herself, satisfied, takes the laptop back to her room. Later, she leaves the apartment, gym bag over her shoulder. Laptop stays in her room. Then she comes back, goes straight to her room, waits. Then I come home. She immediately comes out holding the laptop. I watched the destruction footage 3 more times. She'd destroyed her own laptop, deliberately, methodically, then blamed me, waited for me to come home so she could accuse me. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a mistake. This was a setup. For the next few days, I acted completely normal, avoided her as much as possible, went to class, came home late, studied in the library, said nothing about the laptop, didn't engage. She kept pestering me, texts every day. I'm serious about the money. Friday deadline. Don't think I'm joking. I have rights. Last chance. $2,000 by tomorrow or I'm calling the cops. You're going to regret ignoring me. I didn't respond to any of them, just screenshotted each one, saved them. On Friday morning, I was making coffee when there was a knock at the door. Sharp, official, cop knock. knock. I answered it. Two police officers stood in the hallway, a man and a woman, both in uniform. The man was older, maybe 50. The woman was younger, early 30s. Are you Sarah Chen? The man asked. Yes, we received a report about damaged property. May we come in? I stepped aside. Of course. My heart was pounding, but I kept my face neutral, calm. Megan appeared from her room immediately, like she'd been waiting, listening. She was holding the broken laptop. Her expression was smug, satisfied, victorious. Officer, thank you for coming. Her voice was sweet now, polite, victim voice. My roommate destroyed my laptop. I have witnesses who saw her acting strange around my belongings. She's been jealous of me since I moved in 6 months ago. She won't pay for the damaged $2,000, so I had no choice but to file a report. The male officer looked at me. Is this true? Did you damage her property? No, she's lying, Megan interrupted quickly. She was the only one here when it happened. I left for my internship, came home later. My laptop was destroyed. She was here the whole time. The female officer was taking notes. Were you home during that time? No, I was in class. I left early in the morning and got home in the afternoon. She's lying, Megan said again, voice harder now. She doesn't have proof, and I have texts where she's been hostile toward me. Actually, I said calmly, I have security cameras in the apartment. Megan's face went pale, completely white. What? I installed them 3 months ago, after you accused me of stealing your AirPods and then found them in your gym bag without apologizing. I installed cameras to protect myself for situations exactly like this. You can't, that's illegal. You can't record me without my consent. The cameras are in common areas, I said. The living room and kitchen, not in bedrooms or bathrooms. That's legal in this state. I checked. I pulled out my phone, opened the app, found the footage from earlier in the week. Here, this is from the day the laptop was damaged. I handed the phone to the male officer. He watched. His expression shifted from neutral to surprised to cold. The female officer leaned in to watch over his shoulder. Megan walking into the kitchen with her laptop. Megan setting the laptop on the counter. Megan raising the laptop above her head. Megan slamming it down on the counter. The crack visible. Her doing it again. Megan examining the damage, nodding. The officer rewound it. Watched the destruction part again, then handed my phone to his partner. She watched it, her lips pressed together. The male officer looked at Megan. His voice was different now, harder. Ma'am, is this you in the video? Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. That's edited, she edited that. This is time-stamped cloud footage, ma'am, from a security camera. This shows you intentionally destroying your own property. No, and then filing a false police report claiming your roommate did it. She can't record me without my permission. That's not legal. You can't use that. The female officer spoke for the first time. The cameras are in shared common areas. Your roommate has every right to have security cameras in her own apartment. The footage is admissible. The male officer handed my phone back, looked at Megan with no sympathy. Ma'am, filing a false police report is a crime, a misdemeanor. You could be charged, you could face fines and potential jail time. Megan's face went from white to red. This is insane. I want to drop the complaint. Right now, I'm dropping it. Too late for that, ma'am. A report has been filed. We have to complete our investigation. And now we have evidence of filing a false report. The female officer pulled out a notepad, clicked her pen. We'll need to file a supplementary report about the false claim. What's your full legal name? Megan just stood there, frozen, the broken laptop still in her hands, like a prop, like evidence of her own crime. Ma'am, your full name? Megan Elizabeth Cooper. Date of birth? She gave it, stammered through it. Address? This address. Here. They asked more questions. About why she filed the report, about the laptop, about me. About our relationship as roommates. She stumbled through answers, tried to say she was confused, that it was an accident, that she dropped it and panicked and blamed me, that she didn't mean to file a false report. The officers didn't buy it. Their faces said everything. When they finished, the male officer turned to me. Miss Chen, you're free to go about your day. We may contact you if we need a formal statement. Please keep that footage saved. Download it. Back it up. We'll need it as evidence. I will. And for the record, you did nothing wrong. You protected yourself. Smart thinking. They left. Their footsteps fading down the hallway, the door closing with a soft click. Megan stood in the middle of the living room, holding her broken laptop, her hands shaking, her face blotchy, red and white in patches. The apartment was silent. You set me up, she whispered. No, you set yourself up. I just had cameras to prove it. I'm calling my dad. He's a lawyer. You're going to regret this. He'll sue you for illegal recording, for harassment, for call whoever you want. I have video evidence showing you destroying your own property and filing a false police report. Good luck explaining that to your lawyer, Dad. I picked up my backpack, walked toward my room. Behind me, I heard her laptop hit the floor, the broken pieces scattering across the hardwood. I closed my door and locked it.